Anybody out there wants to write a song or words to that, please do.
Hello, Dan.
Hey, Bill.
How you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. How
Well,
about
here
you?
we are back again, and we've got a lot of fan feedback, and we've got a little. Dan's going to do a little year in review of our community and what's gone on, and got some advice for all communities, and hopefully we'll get some feedback. That's what we're looking for. And Dan actually just brought up a really good subject. If anybody feels like writing lyrics to that song we're using, let us know, and I'll send you the lyrics. We'd love to hear some different things. So
Yeah, I'll even sing them for you if you
yeah,
want.
yeah. So
Corny as that may be.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you Dan. All righty, here you go, Dan.
Hey, Bill. Hi, everybody out there in HOA land. I've gotten a lot of feedback recently. Here's one that one of my neighbors, matter of fact, I'm giving him a ride to the airport tonight to pick up his daughter. Um, he wanted to know about insurance. How many things, how many people in the park, any kind of park, any kind of community, carry insurance? What kind of insurance? Most of them will carry probably citizens, but he's even offered to have some sort of guest speaker in here, and to kind of not to make a pitch per se, but talk about the ins and outs and the ups and downs. If anybody's interested, send me an email about it. I'd like to talk more about it. Um, I find that lately in our own community, I'm not sure about other communities, but we have an election going on, and and some of the campaigning that we do on social media is absolutely comical. So I think this is a challenge to all of you. If you know a candidate running in any campaign other than the presidential one, because that's over with, but share the good, the bad, the ugly about this individual if you'd like. Tell them. Sometimes the truth hurts, but people want to know.
I'm pointing at Dan to look into his camera.
Uh-oh. Look into my camera. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I'm always looking down.
Otherwise, they're looking at the side of your head.
Yeah, okay. I'm always looking down. How's that? No. Um, Something else somebody brought up to me, and it's probably a good thing. Do you have a lot of negativity in your community? I mean, does it affect some of the things that you're working on? Some of the things you're trying to fix, some of the things you're trying to correct, some of the things you're trying to work on as projects. Does the negativity really run its course and drive it into the ground? Um, I heard one recently. We just had a new fob system installed, and people are up in arms over the small things like in one of our clubhouses, you no longer could open the door the same way. And it's like, oh my gosh. So, I guess it's kind of a learning curve, that you have to learn to adjust and accept new things. I think it's a waste of money that you have to do something like that, but that's fine. That's fine. Here's another good one that one of our local community members brought up to me. I think it's wonderful. She works still. She works for the post office. And she wants to know and wants to make people aware. She also volunteered to come in as a guest speaker and talk about scams. How many people, raise your hand if you have had a scam of any kind, an email, a phone call, even somebody knocking on your door. You need to make sure you're aware of these. You can ask questions, you can Google it, there's all kinds of things. I even Googled something recently about this here. This is kind of interesting about the top scams that people use. A voice print scan, a cooking scam. I don't understand that. Would have to read it get for sure. But a delayed action sweepstakes, like, hey, Bill, give me a call, and I need you to invest $1,000, and you won 10,000. Come on up, sign for that. I mean, it's crazy, but this person mentioned it to me, and she does work for the post office, and I'm sure they see a lot of them. She mentioned it. Scams, phone scams, all kinds of scams. Be aware of them. Be conscious of them. Ask questions of other people. Don't be asking the scammer that, for sure. Um, Sometimes you always wonder when you make a pitch for like a campaign in a community to run for the board. Bill, me, and the cat over here decide to sign up together and campaign as one. Do you use good choices, best choices? What kind of names do you come up with that really would drive it home to peace? I know sometimes we don't always make the best choices as individuals, but hopefully you'll figure it out. Failures. How do you deal with failures from a person that might be running for the board? Bill, let's say he's running for the board. Well, boy, I don't really like the way he parts his hair, or hey, I don't really like that project that he dropped the ball on, or hey, I don't. There's a lot of things you can investigate, and don't hate a person just because you found out something negative about him, but do some investigating. Find some time for yourself to find out what is it about Bill that you don't like or do like if he's running. That's a good way to go. We had an issue in our park. To me, I saw it on social media where they had to shut down the water in our park for a long time. They actually advertised up to 3 days of not having water. I mean, you could turn it on at night and things like that, but it's crazy to think that, and never once did anybody think about contacting the fire department to say, hey, guess what? This park down the street here, ABC, is not going to have any hot water, any kind of water, in case you have a fire. I was amazed by that. What do you think about that, Bill? Any comments at any of those? Anything you'd like to add?
Well, what I'd like to talk about is the last thing you just touched on about water being shut off because of repairs. You know, and being a past volunteer fireman, I know a little bit about that. That yes, fire department definitely wants notification on that.
It would be nice.
Because they prepare for situations like that.
Yep.
Like
Extra water.
our local fire
Yeah.
department will bring in more water, probably another pumper full of water,
Yep.
just so they have the access to that if they do get a call.
Even
you
other
know?
stations, right?
Yeah.
Like the one down the road.
Because, like they say in this community, the homes are pretty close, and there's a car in every carport, right? And they worry about a house fire getting to the cars. Once it gets to the cars, it's kind of like out of control because then it'll just start jumping all over the place. So they really want to know ahead of time, and it's up to your park manager to take care of that. And it's a simple thing. You call down to the local fire department, and they're very nice over here. And, just let them know, hey, we're going to have the water shut off. Oh, thanks very much. We'll make plans, and that's what they do. And, of course, if things get done quicker or whatever, you can always call them back. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's a phone call. But it's protecting the people that live in the community is what you're doing. And I do believe that's the manager's job. But, things happen. Things don't get done. What else? We're kind of getting used to that here,
Sometimes I think in our case, Bill, when you speak about our park in that particular case, I think inexperience goes a long way in saying that, hey, you dropped the ball, you're in over your head, you missed it, whatever you want to, however you want to phrase it. I really believe that.
Dan, just God forbid something did happen. I'm glad it didn't. It'd be a tragedy. It really would be because somebody didn't make a phone call.
Yeah, you got that right. You know how quickly it could go?
Most pumpers in fire departments hold 1,500 to 2,500 gallons of water. You could put out a pretty good-sized fire or at least knock it down with that much water, so. All right, what else did we have, Dan? Let me see that list a second.
This one here, I don't know, this one might hurt some of the people that we know for sure, but I believe in honesty, so I'm not in this to make friends, to be honest with you. I got enough friends. I'm in this to tell people in communities, any community, our own included, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's as simple as that. It doesn't get any easier than that. I mean, you don't like to pick on people, that's for sure, but you don't want to blame people. But I mean, there's some things that just, I don't know. Are they worth talking about? You'll hit them square between the eyes with this if we talk about these things. These things are things that are related to our own park, we call it like a year review. Did we as a group make the best choice, with the people that we voted for and the things that we've done? I find it kind of comical to listen to some of the people that you talk about. We've had a shuffleboard court here in this park that was crushed. No insurance. What's gonna happen? Who's gonna eat that cost? And if you ask the shufflers, can you live without that? They say no. Why? Because they don't want to have to fight the park to eliminate it or put something else in its place. Because the stupid old time rules that say, you have to have so much. You have to have so much sand in the sandbox. If you don't, you're in violation. So why can't we change those things? Why can't you get a certain percentage of the park to make the hard decisions, to stand up for yourself, to say, hey, this isn't right. You need to say something and not just sit there and bitch about it. Oh, can I say that online? I guess I can, right? It's not really too bad, is it?
Yeah, they let you say it on TV. So
okay, so I can say it. But it's not. Is it really worth sitting around and doing that at coffee, like an old curmudgeon, or sitting around and, with your friends around the pool and floating around, I hate this, I hate that. Do something. Stand up for it. I mean, things like, we had a message board in our park that was, I don't know, I thought it was well liked, even though you didn't always like what was in there. I thought it was well liked and well received by the membership, and they took it away. Why? They didn't want to hear what you said. They didn't like what you said.
You're right, Dan. With the message board, and again, these are our opinions. Remember that as we go forward. That evidently the board of directors or other people involved in the management of the community didn't like the negative talking about them on the message board. So for a couple of years they tried to get rid of it, and they kept telling them, no, we don't want you to get rid of it. It's a nice open venue for people to share how they feel. Well, guess what? The board got in. They had a pretty good vote last year, and they got the majority, a super majority. And one of the first things they did was, let's vote to get rid of the message board. So they did, and they removed it from the website.
Yeah. Or let's put cameras up around the pool after you've been beaten into the ground for 2+ years, saying we don't want cameras.
Yeah.
That's what the people of the park say.
And they're going to do it anyway.
They're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
For what? For safety? Sure. Hey, Dan's drinking in the pool. He shouldn't be. There's a lot of things that they should be concerned about, but.
Yeah. But I mean, the problem with the cameras in the pool is not the people that live here. It's the people that come to visit. Their kids and their grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest with you. My grandkids, I wouldn't want them on video. Because you don't know who's viewing that or who has access to it. They tell you, well, listen to that. You never know that. Anything on video can go anywhere. So, but, they don't care. They want what they want. They do what they want, You notice the shuffleboard court hasn't even been brought up to be fixed.
No, not yet at all.
I do believe, Dan, there's another plan there. But
yes.
As you know, with this board, they do everything behind closed doors. And they get it all set in place, and then they do it. Yep. And it's like, they don't care what the people think.
I really wanted to talk about our fob system. We invested in a new fob system, which I believe was about $62,000, something like that anyway. I understand the old fob system is going away. It's obsolete. It's like anything else. You can only use it so long. The software is only so good. It's just like computers. I got Windows, Microsoft Windows. What are we up to now? I can remember using Microsoft 3.1, back in the day. But anywho, they spend so much money on this fob system, and it sucks. I can say that, right? Can I say that? That's like bitch, isn't it? I can say, okay. It sucks. If we have to edit it out, that's fine. But it sucks. The problems every other day with one or the other. This one doesn't work. I've had 3 different stories from our management company as to why my own fob hasn't worked. 3 different stories. Yeah. And now I find they leave that gate open because everybody's having a problem with it.
Right.
It's like,
it's a joke.
Be honest. That's all.
It's a joke.
That's all I'm looking for.
Be,
I wish you would watch these podcasts. I really do. You might learn a thing or two, at least how to treat people.
Yeah. So, there's a number of issues in this book, but I'm sure there's a number of issues in a lot of the communities. And we'd like to hear about them.
We got 2 new signs in our park recently on both entrances here in the park that I think that look very nice. Beautiful. Nice job. Yeah. It took a long time to get it. No fault to any of the committee, but
3 years.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when a new regime takes over. It's just like our presidency, Yeah. A president steps in, he wants to say, I want to pick this one, and this one, and then they all get together, they all agree, and you spend 4 years doing whatever you got to do to fix whatever you wanted to fix, and then you all go out the door and you walk away, and there's another new group of people that walk in. No wonder it takes forever to get things fixed.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know. I was on the committee last year for the signs, and we had all kinds of plans up, and we were told that the city is going to turn it down. All right. So, all of a sudden, new regime comes in. They get it approved through the city. I don't know how that happened.
Well,
Same plan, but of course now it's their idea, not ours.
They look good. Yeah, look
They're
good.
just looking to make themselves look
kind
good.
of like just putting your fingers in. Yeah, I'm looking great.
Yeah.
How about our fence? How many accidents have we had around our park that they've damaged our fence?
We probably have over 30 sections of fence. Maybe not 30.
At least 3 big, huge sections.
Yeah.
And one person last week hydroplaned out in front of our park, through the fence, wiped out 4, 5, 6 panels into a pond.
Yeah.
They were lucky, seriously lucky.
The reservoir.
Yeah.
The storm sewer reservoir. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know why we're not fixing it. Oh, I know why. Well, no, I guess it depends on who you're asking, but it's usually things like supply chain issues, waiting for insurance. What was the other one? I forget what it was, but I don't think any of them were really good excuses, to be honest with you. Fix the fence. Those are the things that the people have brought up to me. Those aren't my peeves. I don't care.
Oh, come on, Dan.
Yeah. Remember, I gave up the board That was another thing. Our community, we have a nice board. Our president, who's a part-timer, I say part-timer because they don't like being called snowbirds. He's actually had 2 board members resign in less than a year. I think it's a great track record, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Actually, 3.
No, not under this president. It was only 2.
Yeah.
Bill,
It was last year.
Claire.
No, that was that was last year under our last president.
Oh.
It's a shame. I being one of them, I hated to resign. I wanted to support the people of Palm Hill. I had over 300 people that voted for me to be on the board. Somebody was throwing tomatoes at Dan.
So, we're back, and the audience got a little out of hand. I had to pause the video for a moment, so we're going to pick it back up here, and I'm going to give you back to Dan.
I don't know who threw that, but you guys better behave yourself. Was that the cat spitting up a cat ball or hair ball or whatever they call it? Oh, we were just talking basically about, I don't know, the lack of leadership, I guess, by what I consider our management staff and our board here, but no sense of beating into the ground. I guess the last thing that people talked about, that I had heard a lot about, was those back-to-back hurricanes that we had. You know, most of our board don't even live in our area. They're part-timers, snowbirds, whatever you want to call them. So they weren't here for the hurricanes. And all we got was a nice message saying how good we are and working together and Florida's strong. And I just think about, we had a catastrophic failure in our park where our pump system failed because of electricity or lack thereof. And not having any kind of backup, not having any kind of plan of why you can, or when you can flush your crap down the toilet is crap. There's no excuse for that. None. Fix it.
And one of the things I'll say about that is, you know, and it just doesn't happen to 1 or 2 homes in this community. When that pump goes down,
Hundreds.
due to the power going out, right? Yes, you're talking hundreds of homes. And what happens, because people are told don't flush, but of course we all do anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
That starts backing up through the system.
Yeah.
And these houses are all set about the same height as any house in Florida. You know what happens when the system starts backing up? The people down low, well, it comes up through their tubs, comes up through their toilets, things like that. Now you're going to destroy a lot of homes, you know? For the simple reason, install a generator, an emergency generator that'll take over and run, you know? But, we're looking into it. That's the answers we get, you know?
There was one thing that I did appreciate that one of our board members sent out when we had the water in the park yesterday. Of course, that drains. The message was it's likely going to drain your hot water heater. So it's a good idea once they turn the water off in your park. If your water's going to be off for a number of hours, of course, a few minutes is not going to make a difference. But if your park's going to be off for 4, 5, 6 hours without water, drain your hot water heater, because what happens then is there's nothing going on in there. Your element could possibly burn out at the bottom of that hot water heater because it's got no water. It's heating nothing. It's heating air. So just turn off the hot water heater. Go in and flip the breaker in the other room. Let it turn off.
Yep, we did it.
We did it yesterday because we knew we had the power, the outage of water in our park for almost a whole day. When it came back on last night, we knew we're not going to. Well, other than doing dishes, which is my job, I turn it back on. So hot showers in the morning.
Dan, you actually have a job at home?
I do. I do dishes.
You do dishes.
I do
huh?
dishes. Yeah. And I do carry the laundry in and out too. Yeah.
Well, that's a long haul.
Yeah, I don't cook. I don't cook. I'm not a cook.
Well,
I guess I could
I've
learn.
heard people have been happy about that, though.
Yeah, this is probably very true. Yeah, very true.
So,
so
what else you got over there?
Nothing. It's just a happy new year. You had your cruise. We're pretty much washed up with what we have here. I covered just about everything that people have talked to me about. There's a lot of upsetting people in our community. I haven't heard from any other communities outside of ours. I'd love to. Feel free to reach out to me.
So, well, the elections are ongoing.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens if we, how the turnout is.
If you don't know anything about the elections or anything about the people in your own community, stay off of the social media BS. There's really not a good level of saying, "Oh yeah, this is good character for that type of person." I mean, most of them aren't going to respond to them anyway. It's going to be other people that are responding to it. But yeah, I mean, just simply ask. You know, ask people. Do you know Joe Blow? Hey, do you know what can you tell me about Susie or whatever?
So, alrighty, Dan. Well, it's been good again.
It's been a
you know.
pleasure as always. Happy New Year to all of you.
All right, and again, our email address has been on the screen. Please send us feedback. A lot of you know us personally. You
Yeah.
can contact us. You know, we don't mind talking to people on the phone. You know,
This is
getting your feedback and even your opinions or some ideas on more topics what you'd like to hear talked about.
this inbox here on this Gmail that I'm looking at hasn't had any feedback from you folks in the inbox since December 11th.
Yeah, we'd like to see some activity.
All
there.
this other stuff is feedback that I hear around
Yeah.
coffee or social sites here and there, and I need to hear what you want. We do.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to speak about is this is up on YouTube, as you all know, and the like and subscribe buttons. Click both of them, please, for us. All right.
Let us know that you're watching. Let us
Let
know
us
you like
know.
it.
At least we
Yeah.
got people watching us, and like us if you like it. If you don't, of course, don't. But at least subscribe to us. This way we know we've got consistent viewers.
Yeah. No sense in hearing crickets all the time.
Yeah. So other than that, Dan, I'm going to sign off.
It's been a pleasure.
All righty. You all have a good day. Take
Send us
care. We'll
topics.
see you next week.